Welcome back to another episode of Front Row Cinema, a movie podcast for movie lovers by movie lovers. I am your host, TJ Trimboli, and with me, as always, is we got a very special guest in the house tonight. We got Cupid in the flesh, Mr. James O'Reilly.
How's it going, buddy?
It is going, and it is another very exciting time here at Front Row Cinema. Do not change the channel once again. No, it's not another 3-hour bonus episode, but it is a bonus in a sense. We are doing our first themed episode, and we're taking a moment away from the 1000 movies that we've seen in theaters, and we are turning our attention to the lovely holiday of Valentine's Day, and we will be watching some theme movies for some theme holidays along this year as we go along. And we're still going to keep with the fun stuff that we usually do. We'll see how well it's aged, along with its hype, its box office analysis, and its legacy in the film industry. And I guess with the day, it kind of gives away the theme, Jim, but what are we watching?
Valentine's Day.
That is right. It's Valentine's Day. You're listening on Valentine's Day. What better way to kick off the first ever themed episode of Front Row Cinema than watching the 2010 romantic comedy Valentine's Day, directed by Gary Marshall and starring too many people to even tell. It'd be a 3-hour bonus episode if I sat here naming every single person that was in this movie. So I'll just say a couple. We had Jessica Alba show up, Bradley Cooper, Patrick Dempsey, Anne Hathaway, and so many goddamn more people. Everyone must have worked on scale for this movie, right, Jim?
I mean, they probably made more than scale, but I'd imagine didn't have a lot of filming, so I know the budget wasn't too bad from what I saw. I
Go
made
on.
it about as far as the names you just listed before I was blown away, and then there was about 10 more famous people after that. It was
Yeah,
insane how many people were in this.
I know, and you can't even do like a that guy segment because every single person is just like either an A-list actor or very heavily in the mid ground of like the B-level celebrities. There's so many people in
I
this fucking movie.
I think there might be one that guy, but
One that
but
guy. All right, all right. So
at
let's
least one.
at least one. All right, so maybe there might be a couple of outliers hidden amongst the bevy of talented actors and actresses that litter this fucking movie. But that's for later, Jim. You save your that guy. I want you to surprise me later with it. But instead, I wonder, everyone's probably wondering, well, we don't have a great cue for, actually, we do, Jim, as we do every week when we sit here and we're going to go to our backlog and we're going to look at the back cover of the DVD and see just what this movie is about. I think you can sum it up a little bit better about what Valentine's Day is about.
The Scorpion King is a movie based on the character of the Scorpion King.
It is in a perfect approximation of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is a movie about Valentine's Day. It's a little bit more complicated than that. We turn, as always, to the back cover of the DVD, and it's our favorite thing to see what silly puns they've shoved into this log line this week. And here we go, Jimmy. You ready for this one?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Stories crisscross, collide, and boomerang in this look at a day in the life of love. There's a proposal, flowers that didn't get sent, a big
Oh.
fat secret that's finally told, the I'll show up and surprise him that ended up surprising her, fights,
Ooh.
kisses, wrong turns, right moves, and so much more. Whether new to love or through with love, you'll fall in love with this 19-star funny side up celebration of romance.
Is that a return of the funny side up?
I was literally just about to say, I think someone's done funny side up before. I don't remember which movie
It
it
was
was,
in the
but
Grinch. It was in the
that's
jacket of the
right.
Grinch.
Yeah, and you'll laugh funny side up. My God, they must be just getting the same people to write these. They must just have somebody in like a cave out in Hollywood when the DVDs are coming
Yeah.
out. They just got them flying them off the shelf at them. We
Yeah.
need one for Valentine's Day. Funny
There's
side
some
up. You
guy
used that one already.
some guy sitting at his desk somewhere biting his nails, waiting to see if anybody notices that he just keeps writing funny side up on everything.
He's like, well, I used it for the Grinch back in 2000. So I think 2010 Valentine, I think 10 years might be good enough that I can recycle. So the question now, we got to find a movie from 2020 and see if he
Well,
used it.
these are the only two we've found. We've only done
It's
like
true.
we've done less than 20 of these. How many more are out there is the
It's
real
true.
question.
He might be sprinkling them all over town, this menace, and we just no one's put the pieces together yet. I need a whiteboard in my office now, like the detectives use, right? Where we can string together all of the funny side up pieces and
Yeah,
just track this guy's villainy throughout the years of film and see
and
where it's gonna see if we
then
can
we see if we can
deduce.
get him on the show.
Oh yeah, bring him on. We need to
So
deduce.
what's your inspiration?
Sir, what led you to such a creatively amazing mantra of funny side up that you just return to it
Yeah.
again and again? It's iconic, really, is what it is.
Some call you the voice of a generation for DVD jackets.
What we need to do is deduce which movie is going to be next. Like if we could figure out the pattern, we could see where what the next movie coming out this year is going to do it. And that's
I
when we get them
mean,
on.
so far the connection is that both movies have a holiday in the title.
Ooh, you're right. Okay. So far the pattern is it's a holiday. Damn, and Thanksgiving just came out. When did we that didn't come out on DVD yet? All right. So when Thanksgiving comes out on DVD, we got to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's
we'll
on
have to
there.
revisit.
We'll have to revisit. So stay tuned, everybody. We will. This is a news report in progress. We will keep you updated as we
Yeah,
continue this journey.
funny side up. What a clown.
Now, normally, we go to our memories of watching these movies. I don't think we have one this time. You didn't see this. I'm assuming you did not see this one in theaters. Was this a first time watch for
I
you?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen this.
Okay, okay. Yes, now I didn't see this in theaters, but I did see it back when it came out. I think when it was on DVD. I somebody had made me watch it. And I'll save my thoughts for in a little bit, but yeah, somebody made me watch
Okay.
it.
Is it
I'm keep
anybody I know? You're being
I'm
very
keeping it
cryptic.
cryptic. No, I think it was just probably whatever girl I was seeing at the time.
Sure.
Jim, it's just so many of them. I can't keep
Yeah, who can keep track, right?
track. Jim, let's get into our favorite portion of talking about these movies. I'm talking about those box office numbers.
Numbers, dates, and numbers, dates, hooray. Dates, numbers. Show me the money.
Show me the money, Jim. Let's hear it. Valentine's Day, run me down the stats.
All right, so maybe not surprisingly, this movie opens the weekend of Valentine's Day. It comes
Okay.
out on the 12th. So the Valentine's Day is that Sunday. It opens to number one. Also, probably not surprisingly, not surprising that it opens to number one. The number is a little bit amazing, I think.
Uh,
Opens to 56.3 million.
yeah, that's
That's
pretty
a
good.
pretty good number,
Yeah,
man.
that's a pretty good opening. I mean, you would hope that this would have a good opening though, with the amount of stars that are on it, right? If this didn't perform, I think everybody would have been like, "Fuck, man, what do we do?" Like, if these 47 celebrity stars can't
Right.
open this movie,
Right. Well, and that's really the point of having all those people for a few minutes, right? Is that you're trying to get everybody who's going out to the movies on Valentine's Day to to find a star that they want to go see. You know what I mean?
like there's
And
somebody for
they're just throwing
everybody.
everybody at the wall, yeah, and
Yeah.
catching as many people as they can. And I mean, Box Office Mojo has the budget at 52 million. So
So right there.
56.3, you're already in the black, dude.
Dude, how did this movie only cost 52 million to make? Like,
Because
fucking, you got
who do you think has the most screen time? Like, I don't know, but I mean, is anybody on screen for more than 15 minutes in this movie?
no, not really. I mean, they're interspersed throughout, but they're never a huge driving force of the movie.
Right, like in a scene though, like they're interspersed throughout, but they're interspersed throughout in such a way where it's like Emma Roberts could probably come on set and just like walk by them and then go home for the day, and then they can
Yeah.
film everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Emma Roberts, that she ain't costing that much. But like Anne Hathaway is a big star around this time. Jamie Foxx,
Yeah, yeah.
Julia Roberts. It couldn't
Yeah,
have
dude,
it couldn't have been cheap to
how
get Taylor
long?
Swift in this for 10 minutes. Like,
I don't know. This was like Taylor Swift a long time ago, but
this is true. This is
but yeah,
2010.
Julia
So,
Roberts. How long do you think she's on the screen for in this?
like total, I don't know, like 11 minutes.
Right, like tops, right? That's like you're probably overshooting it. There's like 2 scenes with her and Bradley Cooper on that plane, and then like maybe one in the airport.
See, I guess everybody really maybe absolutely worked for a reduced cut because there's no way you kept the budget at 50 million without them taking a reduced cut. Because Julia Roberts alone right there, like if she did her usual thing with the agent, she's costing you 20 million right out of the gate.
Yeah, yeah. And then this is also one of those things, kind of like you see with movies like Ocean's 11, where it's just a bunch of people who are probably all friends and are like, "Hey, what are you doing next month? Do you want to like film a movie?" Like,
They're just like, you want to get together on Tuesday? Yeah, what do you want to do? We're just gonna film a little
yeah,
scene for Valentine's
yeah,
Day and then we'll go get some
yeah.
lunch.
Gary Marshall's making some holiday movie. I don't know. You want to be in it? So it opens, yeah, to 56.3 million. It beats out The Wolfman, which opens
Ooh,
to 31.5 million.
bad for that
Um,
either.
yeah, that's The Wolfman's opening week, and then number 3. This is a movie near and dear to my heart.
Oh
It
boy.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, opens to
Oh,
31.2 million.
ooh, Percy.
Which
I
I don't know.
actually,
Have you been watching the Percy Jackson show at all?
I was literally just about to ask you that. I haven't, but I think I'm going to watch it eventually because Adam Copeland, better known as the wrestler Edge, is on it. And
He sure is.
anyone who knows me knows I love wrestling, and that Edge is my favorite wrestler. So I might check it out at some point. But also, I didn't watch Vikings, and he was on that, so I might also just never watch it.
I would say that Percy Jackson is a show that is much more suitable for Edge's talents.
Okay,
He
all
really
right.
is able to stretch his like comedic wings a little bit, you know, and I think
Yeah,
that's always been kind of Edge's strength in wrestling, is he had like a nice little like he had some good comic timing.
he did. All right, so maybe I will check it out then. I'll probably
Yeah,
get to that at some
it's a
point.
pretty rad show.
All right. I never watched the Percy Jackson movie either. So
Oh wow, really? That's a good
yeah,
movie.
yeah, I never somehow it just slipped through the cracks, and I've just never had a chance to go back and check it out. So it's just one of those ones that sits in the wings.
Yeah, and also, all right, so coming in fourth,
Oh, bevy of hits coming out this weekend.
yeah, well, no, so this movie's in its ninth week, but
Oh shit.
it's on
Is
the
it
list and it
is it
feels like
Avatar?
mentioning. Yeah, it's Avatar. Avatar comes in fourth with 23.6 million in its ninth weekend.
Still just pumping out fucking money. God,
Yeah,
James Cameron, man,
and
that guy.
it's guess what its drop is from week 8 to week 9.
Probably like 11%.
It's not even a drop. It goes up 3%.
Fuck off.
Yeah, Avatar, with currently at this point a total gross of $661 million.
And it's still doing better week over week in February.
Yeah, that's
It's
insane, dude.
that is insane. That's
Yeah,
also the
so
fact that you have
I don't know.
four
You had to
movies.
mention Avatar.
Oh, you have to. But also that's a good weekend at the box office. You got four movies that made over $20 million.
Yeah, absolutely,
That's huge. Weekend
absolutely.
this year,
Yeah,
we was in box office days today. We would kill for that right now.
that's Valentine's Day's opening week.
Okay.
Maybe really expectedly, it does not hold number one the following week.
Ah, what a
Because
shame.
it's no longer Valentine's Day. Nobody's interested anymore. But it
That's
does still come in
really
second
okay.
with 16.7 million.
Okay. It's a pretty big drop.
Avatar has really closed the gap. Yeah, it's a 70% drop.
Yeah,
It's
that's
that's
not
pretty
good.
significant.
That's
And
not good.
Avatar has closed the gap. It's in third this week with 16.2, so it's like right behind it.
Also, did like
And
every movie in
then
the top three make 16 million? Like that must have been a really close weekend to call.
no, so number one, I'm gonna let you guess this one, but I'm gonna give you a hint. It's a
It's
Leonardo
2010.
DiCaprio movie, 2010. Kind of
2010.
like a psychological thriller.
Oh, it's I had it before you said psychological thriller, but that gives it away. It's Shutter Island.
Yeah, Shutter Island. I probably all right. I maybe too many hints. I apologize.
What that open to?
That had a good weekend. It was 41,
Oh
call
yeah,
it point one. We'll round up.
yeah,
41.1 million.
yeah. That's a good weekend right there. Yeah, that's a big drop for Valentine's Day, but that it makes sense because that's a movie that lives or dies by that weekend, and it's not going to have a lot of. I don't see this movie having big legs.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be the slouch taking his girlfriend to see Valentine's Day on February 19th, right? Like,
Not only that, like if this movie, if you're expecting a movie to do the like average of like 7 weeks in theaters, like are you going to be the guy seeing Valentine's Day in March? Like your girlfriend's like, you bastard, you took me in March to see Valentine's Day.
yeah, dude, it's collecting money like for a bit here. So
Oh my
it's
God.
it's knocked out of number one.
Okay.
Um,
So it joins a litany of movies that only make 1 week at the number one.
right. So yeah, it drops to number two. It stays in the top 10 for 4 weeks.
Okay.
So it stays in the top 10 through the first
For the
weekend of
first week of
March.
March, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean
But
it's
there were people.
still it makes like another 1.5 million for March 12th to the 14th, and then it really drops off a cliff. It stays in theaters, some theaters for a while, but it's like pulling in less than $1 million every weekend after that.
So funny. It's like March 4th. You're like, babe, let's go see Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I mean Box Office Mojo still has it on here for the weekend of April 30th to May 2nd.
Get at it,
where,
yeah.
yeah, where it was on 59 screens is what this has.
He died screwed. That's all the bums who like couldn't be bothered to take their
Yeah.
girl out like on the day, and he's just like,
Yeah,
"Yo,
right.
baby."
It made $23,000
Oh
that
my
weekend.
God! All the dudes bringing their girls that weekend are the ones who the girls are like, "But I can change them, honey. You can't
Yeah,
change him. He took you to
yeah.
Valentine's Day, May 2nd. You can't change him."
Either that, or it's a bunch of single people who have just like didn't have a date on Valentine's Day and have just been watching this movie incessantly for months. Like they've spiraled completely out of control.
They're just in like the back row, like with a bunch of chocolate, and they're in like their
Yeah,
sweats,
right, right.
hood,
Like,
sweatshirt hood up, like just
yeah, so,
lost to all
some
semblance of
some dude
meaning.
whose sweatpants are like looking a little tight is like it's like ordering 2 pizzas at the concession stand.
Just butter topping all over his the top of his sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I'll get that later.
And he's like, that Anne Hathaway, she's something.
He's sitting in there in the
Yeah.
theater like Bradley Cooper. What's he got that I don't got?
Yeah. Oh man. All right, so some totals.
Yeah,
It finishes with 110.5 million domestic, which
Okay.
not a great multiplier. I mean,
Not
it
a great-
opened to 56, so its
Yeah.
domestic total only getting to 110. But again,
Very
everybody's
front-loaded.
expecting this to be front loaded, right?
Yeah, but I mean, hey,
International,
still blockbuster movie made 100 million
yeah,
domestic.
yeah. International, it makes 106 million, bringing it
That's
to a
awesome.
worldwide total of 216.5 million.
For a movie that only cost 50 something to make. That's a win right there.
Yeah, and we've said this before, but if a movie ends up getting 2 sequels, then then it's a success.
Jim,
And this
I
is
think we can
indeed
loosely say that this is a movie that spawned two. So I think that's a
this
very,
is
very
indeed
generous.
the first movie of the Gary Marshall holiday trilogy.
That's a very generous statement right there, my friend.
No, what he New Year's Eve and Mother's Day, bro, and you better watch out because they're both coming. Those are both holidays.
Oh boy, why did I agree to do themed episodes this year? What have I done to myself? Gonna have to watch the Gary Marshall holiday trilogy.
Yeah, but
This
no,
is
so
the
I mean,
only.
for
This is the
real, they
only one I've
remake
seen.
this movie twice, just with different holidays and Gary
That's
Marshall
true.
directing. So, they wouldn't do that if they weren't happy with this turnout.
Yeah, if they weren't happy with the results, they wouldn't be pushing for those extra cash grabs. I don't think Mother's Day had the star-studded cast though. I think that one was a much more toned down cast.
Uh,
I don't know offhand though, because
mm,
I only have seen Valentine's Day. I've never seen New Year's Eve
okay,
or Mother's Day,
so
so
hold on. Mother's
those
Day will come soon enough, but I'm just gonna read you the top 3 billing here: Jennifer Aniston, Kate
okay.
Hudson, Julia Roberts.
Oh, they roped Julia back in.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman just got
Um,
her on retainer after Pretty Woman. You're mine.
yeah. It's maybe not quite as deep. It's I mean like Jason Sudeikis is in it. Timothy Oliphant is like so
Oh,
I mean yeah, like it's not Bradley Cooper and Jamie Foxx, all right.
uh,
You're not wrong.
don't disrespect Timothy Oliphant like that.
Oh no,
That man's a national treasure.
he's amazing, but for like most like if most people know who Jamie Foxx is and like can tell you his name, I don't know if you can say the same for like Timothy Oliphant. Like me
True.
and you could,
He might be a
but
that
like,
guy
do you
to
think
like
my
regular
mom knows
people.
Timothy Oliphant's name? I guarantee you she knows Jamie Foxx's name.
No. So I guess for the more average movie watcher, Timothy Oliphant could be considered a that guy.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas to us, he's a much more known figure. Makes sense. We are professionals here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's a
Abs-
microphone in front of me, which I'm pretty sure makes me an expert.
This thing right here, that means I'm the best. I know what I'm talking about.
Just it's not like you can just hop on Amazon and order one of these things, all right? You got to like earn
True.
this.
That's true. You jump through a bunch of hoops, sign a couple of forms. The only way to be an expert like we are.
There was like a test.
It's like Ric Flair said, man, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And holding this microphone here says, I'm the best.
Yeah. So I guess it's time to go into what we liked and didn't like, right?
I've been trying to stretch out getting to this point for so long and not get us to it, but we have arrived here. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I
I'll
guess we
I'll
should.
let you start this week. Usually I
Oh,
start, but I'll let you take the
oh,
lead.
Jim, why? Jim, please.
Come on,
Um,
you can do it.
I'm sure it was one of those things where I was kind of dreading us having to go into this one because I hate just completely shitting on a movie and not really having anything nice to say. And I was struggling to come up with nice things to say for this movie because it's rough.
Okay.
It's rough. It was rough to get through. The thing I can equate it to most to while watching it is it just felt so manufactured. Like it didn't feel like I was watching a movie. It felt like I was watching a product. And everyone was trying to
Yeah.
sell me on this product. And I get that's kind of the intention. Like it's a movie about Valentine's Day. That's kind of like what you're trying to push. But for everyone talking today about AI writing scripts and talking about like things feeling AI written, this movie feels like it was written by a computer. And it feels like someone just fed a bunch of things about Valentine's Day into a processor and they spit out this script and they were like, "Yep, there we go, baby. That's Valentine's Day." Because it's so cliche filled, it's so saccharine, it's it's an overload. It's an overload of my senses that I just can't get a beat on anything. And I don't know if that's because we threw too many threads in this movie. There's just and I think that's a problem. Like you see, everyone gets what we were talking about it, like 11 minutes, really. No one really
Yeah.
big portion of screen time. So there's really nothing to latch onto. I'm just jumping from cliche to cliche to cliche about love with nothing heartfelt really or of substance to make me feel what I want to feel when I'm watching a romantic comedy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, so I'm definitely agreeing with a lot of what you're saying. There's so many people in it and they're trying to like juggle so many like bowling pins that it's impossible for them to really get the most out of any of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um as like even those Bradley Cooper and Julia Roberts scenes, which as individual scenes I enjoy, you know, like they're fun to watch, they have good chemistry, they're both these like beautiful movie stars. It's like it's cool, but it's ultimately like totally meaningless. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
they're just such a small part of this thing and they really have nothing to do with anything else that's going on, right? Um and then like the reveal of Bradley Cooper at the end with the gay NFL quarterback. It was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, like all right, that's kind of a payoff." But talk about another character who didn't need to be in the movie. The gay NFL quarterback he was in it for like 5 minutes, and I don't even know what his point was. Like,
Also,
just to come
dude,
out as gay, I suppose.
talk about a Mad Lib that somebody wrote to put. What do we need in this movie? Give me a Mad Lib. Gay NFL quarterback. Put it in there.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah,
We got him. We got it.
yeah.
It's like, what, dude? Like, come on.
Yeah, and it came so out of left field. Like they did kind of set it up when he was talking to the girls on the beach in the beginning. He wasn't
Yeah.
interested, and he never had a family, which is like, that's usually like if the guy's getting like older and he's never like settled down, it's kind of like, ooh, what's that about?
Talk about one of the funniest cliches or tropes in thing is the single man who's getting up there in age and still hasn't taken a wife, and they're like,
Right,
he could
right.
be
He doesn't
gay.
have a wife and kids, and they're like, ooh, I bet he does. I wonder.
Yeah,
Like,
I
so
might
like
bat for the other side.
yeah, some of that's there, but then it's just so random. He's like, I know what I gotta do. And then, like,
And that's why it feels like this movie is just so manufactured. It doesn't feel it. None of it feels like pure actual human interactions.
yeah,
You're never lost in what you're watching. You're totally aware that you're watching a movie, and you're totally aware that all of this is the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. Because it's just like, this isn't how actual interactions happen. It's just so weird.
yeah. I mean, like, I guess if there's a biggest thing I didn't like, and I'll start there too, because I think we're kind of on that vibe right now.
Yeah.
Um, the biggest thing I didn't like was basically Ashton Kutcher,
Dude,
which
I was,
is
yeah, yeah, I was
is
gonna talk.
rough
Yeah.
because he's the closest thing this movie has to a lead. So if somebody is getting more than that 10 or 15 minutes of screen time, it's definitely him.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know, he was kind of lame and like, but the chemistry between him and Jessica Alba was also, it just kind of felt non-existent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, especially when it's in the same movie as Julia Roberts and Bradley Cooper. But then again, that's kind of the point, is that the two of them don't have any chemistry, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I was with you for most of the first hour, where the first hour I was like, dude, what am I even watching? I can't grab a hold of anything. By the time I figure out what's going on here, I'm already over there, and none of it's really seeming like it's connected, and none of it's really that interesting, you
Well,
know?
it doesn't help that it's a 2 hour movie and they spend the first hour just consistently just going to a new story, a new story, a new story, a new story. Like
Right.
even when
The
it's said
first
in
hour is
the
all setup.
yeah,
It's all
even
setup.
it said it on the back of the cover, 19 different stories. Like, why do we need that many?
It's a lot. It's a
It's an
lot.
insane amount of stories. Half that, more than half that.
Yeah. No, so I mean it's a lot, but right around that first hour, when I crossed that threshold, when it's right around then when Jessica Alba tells Ashton Kutcher that she's not gonna marry him, and she's got her stuff all packed, and like even the dog's going with her.
Mm.
That's when I kind of just embraced it, and I was like, you know what though, these individual scenes aren't too bad, and I'm just gonna roll with the punches here, and I'm gonna just try my best to enjoy what Valentine's Day is given to me. And I gotta say, dude, for the last hour, I had a blast. Like, I really enjoyed the end of this movie. Even Taylor Swift, by like that scene with her and Taylor Lautner on the track, that was so funny, dude.
Talk about moments and relationships that have aged poorly. Taylor Swift
Oh,
and
were
Taylor
they dating at
Lautner.
the time?
I think so. I'm pretty sure they dated.
I mean, you probably know better than me. I couldn't tell you anything about
No,
Taylor Swift's dating history.
I think
I
your
know
girlfriend
she's
and my
dating.
wife would know better than we would.
Yeah, yeah. I know she's dating a football player now. She's dating Travis Kelsey.
Yeah. No, I
But
know the current
I
one.
couldn't tell you who she
Yeah.
dated before.
I know a few of the back catalog. I don't know too many, but I think Taylor Lautner was one of them. And I
I
think it
mean,
was around the
I guess
time
it
that
makes
this
sense.
movie, I think it was because of this movie. I don't know if they started dating or were dating, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I could see that. Like they met like on the set. But yeah, and the first time I saw her, she was kind of annoying. And then the next time you see her, she was on the track and she was getting interviewed for the news. And I just thought she was hilarious in it. She was playing such a good airhead.
glad you were able to embrace the nonsense to get some enjoyment out of that end half. And listen, I wouldn't fault anybody for, buying into this schmaltzy stuff and enjoying it. I'm happy you were able to. I just I
But
just
wait, hold
couldn't. I
on.
just was never able to turn my brain off to the point where I can just enjoy the nonsense. And I will say, I will give the movie credit. I think it's adequately made. Gary Marshall is a great director, so it's not like the movie
Yeah.
sags or like looks bad or anything. And the
No, yeah.
actors are good. Like everyone in that is a great actor, and it's like not it's not like the scenes. It's just this is one that really just comes down to just the awful writing and just the way it's stitched together that I can just never get I just can't get a beat on it.
Yeah. You didn't get a kick out of Anne Hathaway's phone sex business at all.
Oh, yeah, like you chuckle, but it's
Yeah.
very it's in the same way that we've talked about so many other movies where it just feels hollow afterwards because there's just no through line to anything. I'm just watching these individual scenes that kind of stitch together a halfway movie, and like I'll chuckle in the moment, but then just after the next scene, I've already forgotten about that, and by the end of the movie, I'm like,
Yeah.
that was rough.
Dude, what about when
Look at you,
this
man.
was probably
You got all the callbacks. This movie
dude,
sat with you, man.
I really enjoyed it, I'm telling you.
It sat
The
with
the
you.
what about this was probably my favorite scene of the movie when Jennifer Aniston goes to not Jennifer
I was
Aniston,
gonna
sorry,
say,
Jennifer
wait, what?
Garner. Jennifer Garner goes to confront Patrick Dempsey and his wife while they're out to dinner.
Yeah.
And she pretends to be
She
the
pretends to be the
waitress,
waitress. Yeah.
and she's like giving him the special for the day, and it's like a lying, cheating pig.
No, like
He's
the
doing that whole
bits.
shtick. But
Yeah.
then they tag it so well. She walks away from the table and she like high fives the host. And he's like, "Oh my god, girl, you're so funny for doing that. You're just the best teacher for little Dominic." It's like
Oh my God.
it's so
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
so over the top.
And then I think he did like finger guns to Patrick Dempsey after she leaves. It was I just like I
Yeah.
really was just I had to surrender myself to Valentine's Day, and I was so glad that I
My
did.
God.
It was I had such a fun time.
That was one of the better bits. I will give you. And there's bits throughout it that are solid. And that's probably the best one. But it just as a whole, when I follow it as a whole, I just can't get down on it, Jim. Couldn't
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
No, I mean, and I believe me, I get why because
Yeah.
it did take me a while to even like it that much.
Yeah.
It
And
did like
also
a whole
like
hour of setup
it
that
took
was really dragging.
and not only that, it took you a whole hour setup before not even it feels like you got into it. You basically just surrendered yourself to it, where which is
Yeah.
such a not away from it'd be so I would love to see like Gary Marshall's like, oh, how did you like the movie? He's like, oh, I surrendered myself to it.
No, but I I put myself on the level Gary Marshall was speaking to me on. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
Like I
totally.
like I got on his
Oh, God.
wavelength, and as soon as I did, everything clicked, you know?
Oh my God. Oh,
It's
that's too funny.
surrendering myself isn't a
You're
bad thing, I
surrendering
don't think.
surrendering yourself to the power of Valentine's Day. No, I
Yeah.
just for me, with this movie, I just think there were better rom-coms that dealt with this subject
Oh
and
yeah,
did
I
and
mean,
did ensemble casts that
this
like
is
I look
the
at a movie like He's Just Not That Into You, which also has an
sure.
ensemble cast, does pretty much the same thing where it's about like love and relationships and everything,
Sure.
but just so much more entertaining and has a better heartfelt through line to stick
Yeah.
everything with and better to get through. Whereas with this one, while I enjoyed individual bits, like the waitress scene and everything like that, a lot of the times I was sitting there just looking at my phone, being like, how much longer do I have to get through this? Like every time I get a beat on somebody, we're switching this. There's just too many storylines, too many threads. I just can't get a
Yeah.
handle on anybody.
I mean, you're not wrong. This movie is basically the cheap version of Love Actually or Crazy Stupid Love or She's Just Not That Into You or He's Just Not That Into You. Um it is the cheap version of that because all
Yeah.
of those movies are way better in my opinion. But you know me, man. Cheap cash grabs are my sometimes my favorite kind of movies.
This is true. And hey, I'm also one who enjoys himself a cheap cash grab, but for whatever reason, this one just was not the one that was sticking the landing for me. And I know I was in for a bad time. And I didn't try to go in with a bad time. I kept myself with an open mind. But it was not a good sign when I said to Heather, "Oh, we got to watch Valentine's Day for the podcast." And Heather was like, "No, I'm not watching that again. That movie sucked." And if Heather doesn't
Oh
want to, yeah.
no.
And if Heather doesn't want to rewatch a romantic comedy, I was like, that is not a good sign because she watches trash.
Yeah, that's fair.
The some of the rom-coms she showed me and she couldn't go through this one again. I was like, oh my Lord, I was like, this is saying a lot.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm probably not gonna watch it again anytime soon. Like, but
We have to rewatch it every Valentine's Day, Jim.
oh man. Did you ever listen to that podcast where they did, I think it was like for a year, they watched Grown Ups 2 every week for a full year, and that was
Oh,
like a season of their podcast.
oh my God.
They watched it they watched it 52 times, I guess, or something like that.
At oof, oof. That's rough. I
Yeah.
could not watch this
So
movie another 51 times.
no, I'm not saying we should do that, but maybe we should do it like and review it every Valentine's Day.
We just keep going back to the well, seeing
Yeah, come
how
back
it's
to it.
aged for us.
I think it'll grow on you. If you
You
watched it
think it'll
like
grow on me?
5 or 6 more times, I think it would really get under
I
your
just really
skin.
gotta let the subtlety of the story wash
Right,
over me.
right. I mean, this is comedy legend Gary Marshall, dude. I think you're not understanding how funny this movie was.
Sorry, Gary, it's a no from me, dog.
It's enough for me to. You are going to Hollywood.
But yeah, and I feel bad.
But
I hate hating on a movie too much.
yeah, no, I mean, you didn't like it. What are you gonna do?
We've said our piece. I don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse because that's just mean. So let's dive into our good man Gary Marshall and do our favorite Jim, the IMDb deep. Excited. I know a few Gary Marshall movies, but I bet you there's
Yeah.
some surprises that you're gonna throw at me. Because
Well,
I can't even I like when we do people like this because there's more of an interpretation for what can be considered our favorite of theirs. Because like when you get someone
so
like Steven Spielberg or Robert Zemeckis, it's like or Tom Hanks, you you already have the movie in your head that's like your favorite. But with a
yeah,
director like
totally.
this, there's more leeway with what my option could. Like you could throw a movie at me and I can be like, yeah, that one. And then you could throw two movies later and I'd be like, oh, maybe that one. There's more.
Yeah. So, all right.
Okay.
I'm definitely picking up what you're putting down, and I'm gonna jump in here,
I'll
right?
put down.
So before we get into this or that, you
Okay.
cannot talk about one Gary Marshall without talking about his TV credits, man. And I'm like really excited for this IMDb deep dive because Gary Marshall's the kind of guy where either you know or you don't know. And if you're in the know, you know that this guy is an absolute legend.
The man was
like
he was a machine.
yeah, I mean, just so like in terms of writing for TV, he writes on the TV show. I mean, he has a bunch of TV credits to start. I don't recognize a lot of these, but I do recognize the show I Spy, which is
Oh,
1965.
we do,
It
and
eventually get turned into an Owen Wilson and
yeah,
Eddie Murphy comedy movie.
and you've
He
already.
writes for a couple of years on the Lucy Show.
Oh,
He writes for a couple of years. He gets 18 episodes credited on the Dick Van Dyke Show.
ooh, yeah, this guy really made
And
the
then
rounds on the sitcom eras.
yeah, right. And you haven't even gotten to any of his like great credits here, right? So there's a lot more stuff here that I am not really familiar with, but he writes consistently up into 1970 when he creates The Odd Couple. He adapts The Odd Couple for television. Like one of the
Oh wow, Yeah, I didn't know that.
All-time classic sitcoms he adapts to
Yeah.
television. He's also
Damn.
credited as the creator of Happy Days.
What? Really?
Yeah, he created Happy Days, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he
Hey,
created Laverne and Shirley.
wow. Yeah, this guy was a powerhouse before he even became a director.
Right, he's like an absolute like titan of sitcom television
Like
at the time.
you haven't even gotten to any directing credits, and this dude already cemented his status as like one of the best.
Yeah, and I mean, like, he's creating and I'd imagine running these shows. So he's definitely getting the chops and he's definitely doing some stuff with directing. But that's why this is one of my favorite IMDb 5s. Oh, I missed Mork and Mindy, by the way. The Robin Williams show, Mork and Mindy. He also created Mork and Mindy.
The Three's
So,
Company spinoff?
uh, yeah, I guess so. Is that what Mork is from? Three's Company?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he started as a right because wasn't he like an alien?
Yeah, he's an alien. I don't know enough about Three's Company to know.
I'm pretty sure he was on a few episodes of Three's Company, and they loved him, and they were like, "Give Robert Williams his own show and lots of
Yeah,
cocaine."
right. So, all right. So that I might have missed some of his TV credits. If I didn't get anything, or if there's anything you think I should look more into, feel free to leave a comment below. I'm sure there's other great stuff in here I didn't mention because, I mean, the guy is just incredible, right?
I mean, that's a chock full of just hit after hit after hit. I that seems so
Right.
loaded that I don't even know where you could fit other writing credits in there. Like the dude created like 4 shows one after the other. They were probably all on around the same time too.
Right, dude. And Happy Days, dude. Happy Days is
Yeah.
like everybody remembers Happy Days. I know all about Happy Days, and that was on like
Yeah,
40 years before I was born.
Happy Days was great. Good on you, Gary Marshall.
Yeah, and he's getting director credits for a lot of these. He's directing an episode of these here or
Oh
there.
yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure that's probably where he cut his teeth, like learning directing was on all these shows.
Yeah, definitely. So all right, so let's get into a little this or that with his movies. I'm gonna start with this one. I've never seen this, but I want to see if you've heard of it because I think I want to watch this at some point. You know the movie The Flamingo Kid?
Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Okay. So we
Isn't it
can't really
about?
do this or that with this
We
one,
can't.
but
Isn't that movie about Long Island? I'm pretty sure he's like a kid out in the
uh
Hamptons.
maybe. It just says he works at the Flamingo Beach Club.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it takes place like in the Hamptons.
I'm gonna start with one that I think you might have seen then.
Okay,
Valentine's Day or Overboard?
dude. Overboard. Overboard.
Yeah,
See, like right there.
Overboard.
Like
And like,
Overboard's the front runner for like my favorite of his now.
uh, I would pump the brakes on that. So I'm just gonna
I
say a
put
lot
Kurt
of
Russell in
these,
something, and it's my favorite. All right.
yeah, a lot of these I know Valentine's Day is not gonna win. This is more just so we can say all of the cool credits that Gary Marshall has.
I mean, it might for you. I am the one here who was lament. You seem to be a bit more tolerant of Valentine's Day
Yeah,
shtick
I
than I
mean
was.
more tolerant, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Starting with this next one.
Okay.
Valentine's Day or Beaches?
Oh, dude, do you remember when we watched Beaches?
Yes, I do remember when we watched Beaches.
Just
I
two,
like I love this movie.
just two straight dudes sitting in a room together watching Beaches.
Yeah,
Great time.
crying over Bette
Crying,
Midler and that
crying
raising
over.
that little girl.
Dude, that movie was fantastic. Beaches.
Beaches is incredible. Yeah, that's why I said pump the brakes on Overboard because his next movie is Beaches.
What a great movie. You know, if I wasn't married, there'd be some people that would say we might be a little on the other side of the fence for watching Beaches together.
I mean, let him talk, dude.
That's right. Yeah. If
if
liking
watching
Beaches makes
is
his
wrong,
day.
I don't want to be right, dude. That movie is so great. All right, so moving on though. I don't know. This is a short. He does a short and then a TV movie. I've never heard of either of these. But his next feature movie after Beaches, Valentine's Day or Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman, man. Come on.
Yeah, Pretty Woman. But dude,
Pretty Woman's
what
a
a run of
classic.
what a
Yeah.
3-movie run there of
Yeah.
Overboard, Beaches, and Pretty Woman. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Like, talk about just hitting the ground running.
All right, I'm gonna do kind of a lightning round on these because I don't recognize any of them. Frankie and Johnny.
Never heard of it.
Me neither. Exit to Eden.
Never heard of it.
Dear God.
Never heard of it.
The Other Sister.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, same. And
Man,
then I think this is one
his
that's
run
more,
after those first three really
yeah, but hold on, we're about to get back into the sweet spot again, I promise.
Okay.
All right, so Valentine's Day or Runaway Bride?
Ooh, dude, he had to go back to Julia, man. He knew. I need you to get me back on top, Julia. Runaway Bride.
Yeah, I'm taking Runaway Bride. After Runaway Bride, Valentine's Day or The Princess Diaries?
Wait, he did that.
Yeah,
The Princess
he
Diaries.
sure did.
That's
Yeah,
a
Princess Diaries.
that's a solid movie right there.
All right, now I'm pretty sure you've seen this one, and this is another one that it's just an absolute slam dunk by Gary Marshall.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day or Raising Helen?
I-
Dude, you've seen Raising Helen, right?
Yeah, of course. That came
Dude,
out
that
in
movie
my
is
Hayden
so
Panettiere Love Fest days. I watched everything she was in.
Dude,
Raising Helen.
Oh my god, yeah.
And Kate Hudson.
Did you see that in theaters?
No,
Is
I did
that
not.
coming down the pike at some point? Okay.
Probably.
All right.
I think that
I'll
was what?
take care of that.
What was what? That 2003?
2004.
2004. Ooh. Yeah, no, that I did not see that in theaters, so add that to the 2004 pile of possibilities.
Yeah, definitely. All right, then he comes out Valentine's Day or The Princess Diaries 2, The Royal Engagement.
We're really starting to hit the dregs, but I'd still take that one.
There's a couple of good ones coming. Couple more good ones. Oh no, actually, never mind. There's only one more. Really. Valentine's Day or Georgia Rule.
Oh my God. Georgia Rule. Heather made me watch that movie.
I don't think I've ever seen Georgia Rule.
That one was solid. That one was all right.
But all right, yeah, and that's it. I mean, the only other movies left on this filmography are the Holiday Trilogy.
And we can't get to those yet. We will get to those.
Oh yeah, we're doing all of these. Mother's Day coming soon.
Mother's Day is coming soon, and we couldn't do them anyway now because I don't think we haven't seen either of them yet anyway. So it wouldn't even apply to this or that until we get to it. We will be able to when we do Mother's Day, do this or that Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. That'll be the true question: is which holiday classic in this trilogy will take the top brass as our favorite?
Yeah, that'll definitely be part of it. And then
That will
Mother's
be
Day Mother's Day. We may have to just skip IMDb deep dive. I think we may have to.
And yeah, can't
Maybe
do.
we
Well,
could
no,
do
there's not
Jennifer
as.
Aniston.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's not that many people in that one. You could pick either Jennifer Aniston or Julia Roberts, or God himself, Timothy Oliphant, sexiest man alive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now we'll turn our attention to normally your least favorite part, but it won't be this time because these themed episodes are going to exist outside of the pure list, which is the 1,000 movies that we're going through. So I guess maybe for this one we can kind of maybe do our own themed list and see where these ones end up,
Sure.
kind of ranked around. But for this one at least, for our first one go around here in the themed one, it's going to exist outside. We'll still give our separate ratings, and then for a rating out of 10 altogether, just for shits and giggles, but not nearly as important as it is with the pure list that we normally do. So, Jim, call up my man Ebert because we got some ratings to give.
I'm Roger Ebert. Been a scene from the best film of the decade. This is a great film.
All right. Who should go first? I feel like who's going to have the nicer things? Should we end on a happier note? So should I go first so that you could bring it on home and tie it with a bow?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I'm not like gonna give it a great score, I don't think. But yeah.
Well, mine's easy. I think you've heard
Okay.
from this that I was not a fan of this movie.
Yeah.
I
from what I understand.
yeah. I mean, I always hate to say, I hated a movie.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm putting words into your mouth. You didn't say
All right, you son of a bitch. But this is probably as close as you're going to get to me saying I hated something. I very much did not like this. And for all the reasons that I talked about, I'm not going to go over them ad nauseum again, but this one just did not strike for me. So I'm going to give this one, I think this is going to be my lowest score to date.
it. Ooh.
I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 5.
Wow, 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's
One
almost the
star,
lowest score.
almost. 1 star for some of the funny bits in it.
Yeah, that's fair. This has brought a question to my mind.
Yeah,
What is the lowest score on this scale?
I mean, it would be if we both gave something 0, right?
All right, then I'm gonna give Valentine's Day a 0. No, I'm just kidding.
Not imagine. I'd be like, whoa, what a twist.
no,
But it's this.
no, no, I'm just messing around. I would give it a 2.5 because I think that it is really lacking in a lot of ways, but I also think that they really accomplished what they set out to accomplish, which was this was like not a bad way to spend a couple of hours. I got a bunch of good laughs out of it, and I'm not going to be thinking about it for weeks and weeks, and I probably won't remember much of it in about 2 weeks. But I had a good time. I had a good time and a lot of laughs. So I got to give it like a mediocre score.
Fair. It's fair. And I wouldn't dissuade anybody from their enjoyment of this film. So with your 2.5 and my 1, that gives this one a whopping 3.5.
I would never begrudge anyone who gave this a 1 either. Like I definitely get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, I tend to try and always give that to anybody for a movie, whether I loved it or hated it. You know, if you watch Valentine's Day and it was a 5-star movie to you, then it was a 5-star movie. For us, it didn't land there. What's the next holiday, Jim? When's the next
Um,
holiday? There's no President's Day movie, right? What are we watching for President's Day?
wow. What date is President's Day?
February 19th, I think. Don't
Oh
hold me to that.
man.
I could be completely wrong there.
We have to do a President's Day
No,
one,
no.
dude.
Why did I even bring it up?
Dude, we have to. President's Day, February 19th, 2024.
February 19th, President's Day, The Patriot.
No, I
No, no.
think we need to have something with president in the title. I think
Oh,
that
all
that's
right. So it
gotta
should have,
be
so a prerequisite is it should have president in the title.
so we have
Yeah, so all right, so
or
look it up. So look it up.
I'll take things with like the White House. I'll take things with the White House.
Olympus has
Movies
fallen.
that movies that feature Secret Service agents, I think can fit.
Well, President's Day is really celebrating which president's birthdays? It's what, Lincoln and
Lincoln and
Washington
Washington,
are the two
yeah.
big
But
ones.
I don't
I'm
want to
not,
watch
yeah, I
Lincoln.
don't want to watch Lincoln. Yeah, I don't want to watch that. There hasn't been a movie made about George Washington. Surprising. They've never made a movie about George Washington.
Okay, so let me throw some at you. What I
Gettysburg?
have
Gosh,
or okay, all
the
right. How about
4 hour Gettysburg?
a president's name can be the title too. How does that sound?
Okay.
So JFK
My God.
back and
That
to the
movie's
left.
that movie's
Back
so
and to the
to the
left.
left. I do love that movie. That movie's so long.
Let's see. There's a movie here called LBJ.
Oh my God.
I've never seen that. There's
Nixon? Oh,
is there a
Anthony,
movie called Nixon?
yeah,
Yeah,
with
okay.
Anthony Hopkins, directed by Oliver Stone. It's like 4 hours long
I
though.
think Air Force One works. Like if the president is the protagonist of the movie, I think you can watch it on President's Day. Air Force One,
It's not
maybe.
a real president.
Well, so what? He's a president. He's
Actually, no,
not. It
you could
doesn't.
just it's Harrison Ford. You could just pretend like it's President Gerald Ford.
Sure, there you go. Yeah. Um, let's see. Let's see. Oh
This
wait,
is
there's a movie called President's Day. Hold on.
oh no, this is quickly
Hold
spiraling.
up.
This is spiraling. What is the movie called President's Day?
Okay, it looks like it's a horror comedy, and this
I'm
is the
out.
log line. This is
I'm
the
out.
log line on IMDb. A high school election turns deadly when a homicidal maniac dressed like Abe Lincoln starts killing off candidates.
Oh my God.
Tell me that doesn't sound amazing. All right,
No.
and if you're not sold yet, the runtime is 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, of course it is.
Let's
Who's
see.
in it?
Let's
Is
see.
there anyone of
That's where I'm
note in this
scrolling down
movie?
to. I'm scrolling down to see if there's anybody in here that I can entice you with, but
They're like top
it's looking
billing,
pretty bleak.
James Vanderbeek.
Not, dude. Top
Not even
billing
that.
is Benny Mac McCoy the Fourth.
Yeah, we're out. We're out.
Swear to God.
Yeah, but that's out. Absolutely not.
Benny spelled with an I-E. Benny Mac McCoy the Fourth is the
Oh my
top
God.
lead actor on IMDb.
Oh my God.
And then
Please no.
starring opposite him is Lizzie Denning.
Oh my God.
Neither of these people, by the way, have pictures next to their name on IMDb.
I think I would rather watch Valentine's Day for 51 more days than
Dude,
than watch that.
You seriously aren't gonna watch this, dude? It's called President's Day. How do we
Dude,
not watch it?
I am so unsold on this movie.
Okay.
Anything else you got, Jim?
No, I think that's about it. Just happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah,
Just,
happy Valentine's Day. Kiss your loved ones.
Yeah, be like Ashton Kutcher and find somebody you love.
Yeah, I hope you spent it taking your significant other somewhere special and not listening to this podcast instead
Or at
of
the very least,
listening into
calling
it.
the phone sex operator of a young professional woman
There you go.
who's
So yeah,
who's
don't,
just trying to pull herself up by her bootstraps. That's an option too.
there you go. Yeah, don't do that. Take your significant other out for a nice dinner, a movie, and then you come home together, curl up together on the couch and listen to this podcast. That sounds like a great way to spend Valentine's Day. I know that's how I'll be having Heather spend it. That's all we got for you guys. As always, we'll see you at the movies.